tallest player in Providence history. And here we go with Providence controlling the tip.
Jim, we talked about the guard matchup, but the inside game with Kleinherd and Shabazz will be interesting as well. A little contrast there, a power player against a tall, thin player.
Linehan guarded by Joe's brother John, a sophomore for Penn State. Now a switch.
Switch here. Titus Ivory gets him. Penn State switching at all occasions, and Providence, here's the matchup I've been wanting to see. The great defender against a guy that knows how to score. See how patient this will be.
Kleinherd has been playing his best ball of his career the last 2 weeks.
He sure has, Jim. He was outstanding in the Big Ten tournament. 24-7 against Michigan, 26-4 against Iowa in a losing cause.
Linehan with the three. And rebound out to Penn State. Smith.
Kleinherd moves Shabazz right off the post.
And a turnover as Titus Ivory tried to force it inside.
Providence will not be bashful. They're looking to shoot quickly.
Maxey. And tipped away. Kleinherd forced the steal.
Numbers.
Penn State running out. Taylor Smith, and he traveled.
Good overplay by Crispin.
Taylor Smith giving up about, 5 or 6 inches to Shabazz.
But he's got more strength.
Shabazz and a hack on Jossie Kleinherd. His career to Florida State. And he's the only Providence player with NCAA experience. Played in 2 games. Freshman year there, a win against TCU and a loss to Valparaiso, that magical Valpo team.
Nice pass that time by Titus Ivory.
Providence's last appearance was '97. We saw him lose in a regional final in overtime to eventual champion Arizona.
Yeah, one of the great games after Arizona had knocked off the very favored, highly favored Kansas. Providence took them to overtime. Straight man-to-man on the out of bounds. Crispin has not yet been able to get a shot off.
Kleinherd outside, and the rebound right into the arms of Augustin.
Providence not a great rebounding team, actually being out-rebounded on the year, but they're blocking out nicely.
Maxey off the feed from Linehan.
And what we're seeing in regard to Providence is a starting lineup, but basically they play 10 guys. So don't get into your chair figuring what you're seeing on the floor right now is going to be the game, because their big success, and that's off Crispin's legs. Mentally, you've got to always be aware that Linehan's right there. And he has played some of the best guards that you'd want to play handling the ball and really shut them down this year.
His first, the first Providence player to win a postseason award in the history of the Big East. And that follow-up by Shabazz. Penn State's turned it over on 3 of its first 5 possessions. See if they can settle down. Crispin comes off a pick, gives it up instead. And Kleinherd, what a play. Reach in there by Maxey.
Maxey did a real good job. He was up in the air, overcommitted.
And a foul called against Penn State.
72%. And being a good free throw shooting team, it gives them an opportunity a lot of times to set up their press on made free throws. And here they go. Let's see if they throw over the top to Kleinherd again. They do. But they have to break off of that, Jim. It's one thing to get the ball in bounds. You've got to go ahead then and attack. You stay in the half-court set all the time, and it gives Linehan an advantage.
After an opening basket by the Nittany Lions, 7 unanswered for Providence. Ivory, Joe Crispin from the corner, and he's on the board. That's a 3.
What happened right there is Linehan got caught in all the traffic. Good patience by Crispin. And he is one of those guys that not only is a good shooter, he's a streak shooter and scorer.
20 points a game. Shabazz, it rattles out, and rebound to Joe Crispin.
Smith had fallen down in the lane. Shabazz had a wide open play. I think Penn State ought to set a lot of screens with Kleinherd out here and get Linehan off Crispin. You're not going to beat him off the dribble.
Taylor Smith, tough pass, able to snare it. Kleinherd inside, nice. Back to Smith. With 2 players on him, he still banks it home.
Well, Shabazz couldn't get down there quick enough. He has to respect Kleinherd outside. Providence being very patient here in their offense.
And Joe Crispin almost stole it.
Crispin looking for a man, and now Kleinherd gets the steal.
Kleinherd, no one near him.
Third team all Big Ten. Very versatile performer. Has to play inside as a center for this ball club, but really would be an outstanding college power forward.
And that shot doesn't drop. Mills.
Shabazz for the second time putting things back. Nobody putting a body on him.
So Shabazz with a couple of big moments. The game's tied at 9. Ivory with a 3. Yes.
There's the big play. Ivory had so much taken out of him, Jim. In the Penn State game, he really had no legs for Iowa whatsoever. Probably played one of his poorest games of the year.
The whole team was flat against Iowa after upsetting the second-ranked team in the country at the time, Michigan State. And that is a carry.
But they've got to get to the free throw line some. And we saw that rebounding advantage in the Iowa game where the great Reggie Evans out-rebounded, or actually neutralized, the entire team's production for Penn State with 18 rebounds.
30 points to go with it. Evans leading Iowa. It was a blowout from the get-go and just a flat effort. But Penn State certainly a lot more intensity tonight. John Crispin. Wow, that one was had considerable arc to it.
Ask the Wildcats of Kentucky what it's like when the Crispin brothers get hot, because they went down to Kentucky and knocked off the Wildcats, and the Wildcats opened with tremendous outside shooting, just as we've seen so far.
And John, who just hit that one, hit 6 out of 8 down at Rupp Arena, scored 26 in the Penn State win at Kentucky early in the year.
And we see this bench now.
Yep, Laxa's in for Providence. Marcus Banta in for Jerry Dunn and the Penn State Nittany Lions. Lead at 15-9. Hit the last 5 shots from the field, Penn State.
You'll see the Crispins, at least Joe, Klein Hurd, and Titus Ivory play most of this game. Good hands by Banta.
Travels out. Only one team in the Big East had a better league mark this year, Boston College. Providence was 11-5, but lost its quarterfinal game against Syracuse. Here comes Banta.
One off the knee, one off one arm, one off the other arm, and
tipped up by Klein Hurd. And Penn State ball.
He might have been sitting over there talking to some of the reverse. That is a fadeaway, almost out of bounds.
Joe Crispin.
And Banta needs a timeout. There is a term you don't want to show your, and I'll leave off the word, but he's about close to doing that if he doesn't get some help with the uniform. But he's playing.
Oh, yes. This time the only thing that drops is the shot right through the net.
That's got to be the sloppiest looking inside post play I've ever seen. But he is playing.
That's a
Linehan back in the game. Crispin really locking in defensively with him.
15-2 run for Penn State.
Boy, these are two very evenly matched teams. Push inside.
And that's Laxa on the foul.
Ivory's going to sit down for a while. Puts a lot of pressure on Crispin.
It was 7-2 Providence. 15-2 stretch. And looking to add to that run.
Boy. Linehan reminds me a lot of Muggsy Bogues. He plays so low to the floor, you just can't get your dribble by him. Even when you use crossovers, his hand is right in the way. And boy, does he like contact.
There's a lot of screens coming right at him. Here's Crispin.
That was definitely a defensive play. Well, one thing that Coach Welsh has done, he's forcing Penn State to play his style in regard to the substitution patterns. Mills coming off a nice screen.
Mills in the lane, gives it up. Douthit with the dunk.
Mills made that play coming off the screen nicely, getting a nice angle. Big advantage now for Providence. And in fact, they're going against the second team. Watkins not used to a defensive player like that. You put it on the floor and he's going to get a piece of it. Dangerous pass there to go back court. Good catch and take it back. Good job by Ivory.
Ivory, the only Penn State starter on the floor right now.
Watkins got a drive.
Watkins with some room and couldn't finish the play. Douthit with the rebound for Providence.
Maxey wants a lob pass. Nothing there. Good decision making. We see now the depth of Providence taking a big advantage here. Banta with another big play.
Yep, that was pretty strong. Held off a couple of challenges there.
Really solid minutes that are being played by the bench for Penn State.
Ega Casey and draws the foul.
Conference tournament games of the year this year was quite an accomplishment. Took a lot out of these guys, and they just didn't have anything for Iowa. And not to take anything away from Iowa's club because they had a sensational tournament.
Maxey with the lay-in. Yeah, Iowa went on to win that Big Ten tournament. We'll play Kentucky tomorrow, already a first-round win over Creighton, Iowa this week.
And still playing without Luke Recker. It's just amazing what that team has done down the stretch. Had to win, kind of like Temple today. Had to win the Big Ten tournament in order to even probably get in the NCAA tournament.
Watkins.
Important shot here.
Oh yes, cans it for a 3.
Mills was looking to help out on Klein Hurd. Was going to give Watkins that shot. Took advantage of it.
Then they iced it, the bid that is, with the win over Michigan State in the quarter.
I think if they hadn't beaten Michigan State, Sunday afternoon would have been very exciting for them, waiting for a call.
Although they did here merit the number 7 seed in the tournament, so maybe, you know, how much was the Michigan State worth?
A lot.
Not a lot, but was it worth a difference between a 7 and maybe being out of the tournament? I don't know.
Ivory, who had a sensational year in the Big Ten this year. In almost every category, you found Ivory in the top 10.
He's hit 2 threes now for the game. 10-point lead for the Nittany Lions.
They'll give Linehan that shot. He'd rather dribble, penetrate, and dish off. Nice job sitting down. He's awful quick. You see Penn State switching on the perimeter on almost every occasion. Got back to their regular men now.
Mills right past Smith. And we found out, too, that's the only time in history that's ever happened. Oh, almost tipped up and in, and into the arms of Ivory.
There's Ivory again, showing his versatility, getting a tough rebound inside.
Joe Crispin, three-pointer, in and out.
Oh, he thought he had that one, and you can't give him open looks like that. He'll bury him.
He's 1 of 4 from the field.
Augustin, another one of these versatile players that Providence have. Able to handle the ball on the perimeter, get up on the boards, shoot the 3.
Linehan 3, beautiful shot.
I think he faked Crispin out that time. It's a good move right here. Put Titus Ivory bringing the ball up floor, send Crispin long. That way you take away Linehan from being able to steal the ball out front and start the break. Subtle move, but a good move.
Crispin got away from Linehan off a Smith screen. Now he steps back. Smith back to the rim with a 3.
Penn State getting the shots, but they're not hitting them. Mills has been able to penetrate at will. Beautiful pass.
No look pass, and Ivory.
Mills is a guy with 88 assists, only 64 turnovers. That was a tough catch. Oh.
8 minutes to go in the half, and Penn State leads by 7.
Isn't it amazing? These two teams with an Eastern tradition have only played one other time in their history.
That's almost unimaginable. Mills pull up 2.
Mills could be the difference maker in this game. He has got the quick feet tonight. Excellent penetration. Nobody from Penn State's been able to match up with it. Baba all over it.
Boy, Don Crispin really coming in and throwing some intense defense. Klein Hurd gets it back. No foul call.
Augustin with a good help from behind.
10-point lead has been cut in half, and Kaba, well, he lost it there. Ivory comes out with it.
There's Crispin. He's got the open jumper. Doesn't take advantage of it.
Klein Hurd gives it up.
One pass too many.
Yeah, maybe should have shot it.
He would have at the worst gotten fouled.
No look. Taylor Smith baseliner. Yes.
Terrific play by Smith. The second wide open jumper he had. Important for Penn State to have that shot go down.
Tyler Smith is from Lake Bluff, Illinois. I tell you, he's a lot of pressure on him tonight. Tyler with playing a 7-2 guy.
I tell you what, Jim, I think he's bigger than they listed.
Yeah, I agree with you. Shabazz in and out. Oh, Shabazz with his third dunk.
Third dunk and follow-ups on the offensive glass. Something that's not Providence strength. They're getting it tonight.
And that was last touch by Providence.
Got into it after the last regular season loss, but then we talked the next day and we realized that this team's only going to go as far as we go. So he said the 3 of them have been spending a lot more time together in the hotel, on the road, knowing that this is their last go, Jim.
3 seniors, so often a critical part of the equation in the tournament. Klein Hurd too strong and misses the follow-up.
Tough break for Klein Hurd. He had the open look. Couldn't deliver.
Linehan has to take the open 3. and in traffic in the last 46 years. That was against UCLA 10 years back. Outside jumper drops for Maxey.
This is a tough team to match up with, this Providence club. You can see why they've had success. Not only the depth of their team, but so many guys are capable of pulling up and making the three.
Crispin blocked.
And here comes Linehan.
Tried to tip it over the tape, but Linehan so quick. Maxey again, and not this time. Wow, way up for the rebound, and he gets it to go.
One of the great games in NCAA history was the Arkansas-Indiana State in the regional final in Cincinnati.
Like a one-point game.
Oh, that was a tremendous game. Larry Bird didn't hit the winning shot, but he made an outstanding play, and that really was a great regional final. Mike Krzyzewski, Quinn Snyder, Lefty Driesell, Maryland, and Indiana State, Michigan State.
It's supposedly a blind draw in the way it comes out.
I think that's an honest statement on their part. You know, there was a game between Duke and Kentucky in Philadelphia once that was kind of interesting, too.
Remember that one, too. It's 1 of 2. Tyler Smith clears for Penn State.
And if you're Jerry Dunn, you have to start saying, where can we get some points? They have not been able to get anything in their offense.
Well, Ivory's hit a couple of threes. Klein Hurd and Joe Crispin, they're the top 2 scorers on the team. Joe's number 1. They're 3 of 13 from the field. And what a soft touch off the front of the rim for Laxa. 3-pointer.
Young man whose mom and dad are coaches and has the perfect form, a long-range shot like so many European big guys. Crispin should have shot that ball.
Got it back in time before Linehan got back on his feet, and that's an air ball.
Penn State goes to the zone.
This game swinging back and forth. Penn State had a 15-2 run at one point, the lead by 10, and now a 15-2 swing the other way to put Providence ahead by 3.
First zone of the night, Ivory out on top.
Mills breaks it alone and banks it home.
Mills tonight, almost every time he's put the ball on the floor, whether it be man-to-man or in that case zone, has been able to penetrate right on by the Penn State defenders.
I like your observation early. Quick feet tonight, Mills.
Oh, yeah.
Showed it right there.
I would say as a team, this is about as quick a team as I've seen this year.
Ivory rejected.
That's Mills blocking a shot on the other end. Yeah, great team quickness, even more so than speed. They are really quick, short bursts of speed. You've got to go out and watch that shot.
Laxa too strong. Douthit on the follow. Tipped out to John Crispin.
You notice, even when Penn State looks like they've got a break, Providence beats them down the floor. They're not going to beat Providence on the perimeter.
2 for 2. Klein Hurd grew up over in Houston. He's got 22 people here tonight. Made the trip over from Houston, Texas to New Orleans.
Well, that's a little closer than State College.
Oh, yeah. He was very pleased with the draw. Although they sweated it out a little bit on selection night. They were next to last to be revealed. He said, hold on a minute now. I thought we made it. I thought we were going to be in.
Here you see Linehan doing just what Mills did, and that is penetrate against this zone with the dribble.
So only 1 field goal the last 7 minutes by Penn State here in the white uniforms.
See Linehan that time when he sees screens coming, he's so quick he can run around the screens and recover. Play so close to the floor and have such quick feet as Linehan has. Makes it almost impossible to set screens unless they're blind screens from behind him. See how he got around that screen?
Crispin with a 3, his 2nd of the night. And he points over and thanks everybody for the screen.
Absolutely. That's the 3rd open shot he's had tonight, and he's made 2 of them. The rest have been off balance because he had to fight the defender.
Penn State back to an even game now at 30.
Mills again, the dribble penetration, that goes off his foot.
Temple, which won on this floor earlier today. Temple, Michigan State, Illinois, Kentucky, not bad.
And they had that big lead against Ohio State, their last home game. Ohio State made the miraculous comeback in the second half, had them down at 20. Maybe after Ohio State lost the opening round of this tournament, maybe it doesn't look so good, but that's a solid club.
Final 50 seconds of the first half. Providence had a 5-point lead. Penn State's come back to tie it.
Penn State really out of sync in their zone. There goes Mills again. Travel everybody with that dribble. That time he walks. It's a good time to go down, take the quick shot, and try to get it back to center.
Charge called on Joe Crispin.
Figure out a way to get him isolated away from the ball.
Providence setting up for the last shot with the game tied at 30. Last shot of the half. Watkins defending on Linehan.
Oh, he stepped out of bounds.
Didn't get the call.
Nope. Mills stepped out of bounds.
Crispin gets picked off on a screen. 8 seconds to go. Mills switch off over Smith. Rattles out. John Crispin with 4 seconds.
Goes long.
Ahead, Klein Hurd, and Linehan stole it. How apropos. Coach. Father was a coach. Father Jerry, who's here tonight.
One of the great ones. Potsdam State, then to Iona, and then of course he had that illness that moved his son right up to the head coach. And there's Crispin again saying, how many hands does this guy have?
Each team in that first half had a 15-2 stretch. And Ivory had a good chance to put one down right there.
Neither team able to get much going on the fast break inside.
Shabazz and Douthit had a big first half combined from that center position. Oh, look at that. Quick hands by Mills. Kicks it out. 3-point shot.
Shabazz
over the back.
The score at 30-30 should be reflective of that.
That was the third foul on Shabazz.
Well, they've got Douthit coming off the bench. So that's really, they've got 10 fouls to give there. Good pass, no delivery.
Second pass to Klein Hurd from Tyler Smith.
Jim, there's a big advantage, I think, to Penn State. Klein Hurd's power inside. They are not taking advantage of that enough.
He could be the key figure for this second half for Penn State.
Absolutely. In the first half, he was 2 for 8. Had about 6 other shots that were good looks that he could have scored.
John Crispin comes out with it. Titus Ivory, he'll take it. 3-pointer. Here in New Orleans, the first basket of the second half to Penn State. We were tied at 30 at the intermission. And that one ties it. That's Aaron Maxey for Providence.
Boy, Maxey showed good patience, staying out on the side. Linehan knew he was out there, knew he was open. That little penetration gave him an even better look. Good two-man basketball.
Mills over.
Been able to get a lot of good looks tonight. There's Klein Hurd, as they said again, most powerful guy on the floor. Spending too much time outside. He needs to get down in the low blocks.
He's heading there now. Ivory penetrates. Puts it up off the glass. What a shot by the senior. Got 8 points. Okay, one more. Saying it's on Douthit, 21, the left side of your screen. Oh, yeah.
Was it Douthit?
It was Douthit.
He's lucky he's still in the ballgame.
He's in for Shabazz, who's sitting with 3 fouls. John Crispin in and out. Klein Hurd with the putback.
No answer for him inside for Providence. He could have a huge game here, and he's capable of doing that.
Had a couple of real good chances from the inside in the first half. Made only 2 of 8. Douthit on the fly. Follows it up, and last touch by Douthit.
Send them long. Set up your offense from there. Nice move by Jerry Dunn. There's Crispin again. Said, let me dribble it a little bit. And he kicks it out of bounds. Just keep the ball away from him.
Shabazz trying to make the move on Smith, and he got one in the face.
His sophomore year, 5 games, and then decided that he just was going to go elsewhere. And ended up in Providence.
Played with Sham got it, LaSalle Academy.
Yep.
Far Rockaway, New York. Shabazz. John Crispin.
Oh, Shabazz gets by with a hold on Smith.
3 of them by Shabazz. Follow-up dunks first half.
1-3-1 zone. First time Penn State's employed this defense. We saw a little bit of this today. It's a matchup out of a 1-3-1.
Christopher Anron in for Providence, number 20. Maxey from the corner, side of the glass.
I think he got Crispin got a piece of his arm on that play. No call. Straight man-to-man this whole game by Providence. Penn State showed a number of looks in their defense. Shabazz not playing Smith, so Kleinherd being double teamed, doesn't recognize it.
And Linehan breaks free. Bounce pass over to Amron. That's got to be basket interference.
There has to be, and no call. Shabazz all over that ball, was definitely up on the rim.
Basket to Shabazz instead.
Boy, you had 2 officials trailing that play. Neither one made the call.
Looked pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Trying to create something. Does. Kleinherd off at the pass. Give Joe Crispin.
Give Crispin some credit right there. Instead of taking a shot in the partial opening, he kept right on going. And Kleinherd does a good job moving to the ball and creating an opening for his passer. Now back to man-to-man defense.
Anron, 3-pointer.
Is he going to take it right at him?
Challenges indeed. John Crispin on the quick follow, and the foul on the Friars.
I think that the O'Brien brothers from Seattle are the only 2 backcourt brothers that I can remember that were starters.
This is another powerful brother lineup in this tournament, not in the guard position.
Yeah, they're not the guard, but sometimes they play back there and don't mind taking a 3.
Jaron and Jason.
Now,
Shabazz short on that, but Laxa in the right spot.
there was Crispin where he's been all game down inside, but wasn't able to get his hands on that ball. Laxa, not only the outside shooter, but plays with the long arm span to do something inside.
Banta and Ega Casey on the court now.
Another air ball.
His brother happens to rebound that one.
Well, Joe Crispin wanted another one.
His brother tries to show him. So a third try coming for Penn State after a couple of long misfires.
And then a throw out of bounds. He has taken him out of the ball game to settle him down.
Brandon Watkins is in for Joe Crispin. So 4 subs on the floor for the Lions. And look at John Crispin. Good stuff inside. He's driving on Shabazz.
Oh, he made it. Oh! He gets Shabazz with 4 fouls on him now. That Dothit and Laxa are going to have to go ahead and do the job inside. A lot of time left, 12-17.
So Penn State leads by 7. Had a 10-point lead at one time in the first half.
Only 1 starter on the floor right now for Penn State.
And a steal by Watkins.
Can you imagine this? That the bench of Penn State getting it done when you figured that was Providence's biggest advantage.
The bench, but the starter on the floor. It is indeed John Crispin doing it right now for the Nittany Lions. Mills drives and a foul outside.
It really improved my confidence. And how's that translated on the court? Try averaging 9 more points a game over last year and improved free throw shooting, Jim, from 50 to 74%.
That's great improvement all the way around for sure.
But has seemed to fit in. And that seems to be the case with Providence right now in their offense. They can't get settled.
Penn State's played 9 players tonight and 10 for Providence.
Nice job by Watkins.
14-6 stretch right now after a tie at 32. John Crispin, not this time. Doubtfit trying to run ahead, and Crispin caught up with him.
Boy, he wants that ball in there, I think.
Ega Casey on the pull down. Only the 4th team foul, 4 on each side. And inside, Maxey had the shot.
Good no call by the official. And this is what's been effective. Titus Ivory bringing the ball up, keeping Crispin away from Linehan.
Less than 11 minutes to go in the game. Penn State has controlled the second half, dictated the pace of this game in the second half. Ivory squeezes it out to Watkins, frees himself, jumper, and again he comes off the bench and delivers a big jumper.
They are getting all of the rolls. Watkins, as you mentioned, missed that shot against Michigan, the best miss of his life. Put back into Klein Hurd, allowed Penn State to advance in that Big Ten tournament.
Douthit on the misfire. Penn State's matched its largest lead, plus possession. Klein Hurd, and missed the lay-in for the 12-point bulge.
Boy, that was kind of like the first half. We had a lot of baskets. It looked like they'd go and just weren't there. Good block by Smith. Beautiful crossover dribble.
Has to stop his dribble, though, in the lane, back outside, and Augustin hits the jumper. 2-point shot, brings it back to 8. Penn State so close to a lay-in away from being up 12.
They're keeping that ball.
Maxey, his 3rd, the 15th foul. Smith on the outside. He can hit that shot, but not tonight. Not this time, anyway.
Good job by Watkins getting back down court. Took away the numbers for Providence. Pick and roll action by Douthit doesn't work.
Douthit to Maxey, beautiful pass.
It was a pass and a tough catch, Jim. Maxey really concentrated on that. Klein Hurd's got something there. He should just go ahead and take it. He'll overpower, draw the foul.
Had a player on his back.
Yeah, he sure did. Then a bad shot at Ivory. He hits it anyway.
That's 3 for Ivory from the outside.
Well, he is one of those quiet assassin kind of players. Just solid in every aspect. Hits big shots, plays good defense, can rebound. Hadn't been on the foul line much, but an excellent free throw shooter. Best in the Big Ten.
And Linehan is only 1 out of 8 from the field. Smith pulls it away for Penn State.
And see the tempo of this game also not what Providence would like, because they'd like more action so they can get their hands on some balls. Watkins playing some solid minutes in this game.
And a bump, and it's going to be called on Linehan. That's the 6th team foul, 1 away from the 1-and-1, and that's the first of the night for Linehan.
Linehan bends over. I think he got a physical shot there by Crispin, who really did a good change off the pass.
Tim Welsh's Providence team trailing, but his old team Iona winning over the 3 seed right now. Ole Miss in the second half by 2.
It's Jeff Rulin's club. Klein Hurd wanting to get down inside, but they can't get any passing angle for him. That went right off Ivory's toe.
And a reach in on Watkins.
Only flow with a half-court set on offense, so therefore taking some kind of crazy shots, not many offensive rebounds, and you're not sure when your teammate's going to put one up. There's a mismatch right there. Linehan takes advantage.
Linehan dishes. Douthit, he can really handle the ball, but gave it up that time. Inside they go. Maxey stolen away by Ivory. Jerry Dunn said last week in Chicago, he says Ivory makes a key steal at a key moment on almost every game for us that we win.
Well, he was first in the Big Ten in steals, so that's you know, a lot of key steals.
Well, that's but the timing is the thing, and with 7 minutes to go and a lead of 9, they got a chance to take their largest lead of the night. That's his 3rd steal overall this evening.
He's a very, very smart player, because he doesn't have the physical tools to be leading the league like the Big Ten in steals. Not a good pass.
Stolen right back, Maxey.
And why is Smith even trying to handle the ball down the lane?
Jumper from the corner, rattles out.
Oh, good steal by Crispin. Maxey had a layup.
Crispin to the basket, and Penn State in the head by 11.
He looks over at his brother and says, John, if you can do it, I can take it that way too.
His first points of the second half. Over the top, Maxey inside, and Ivory line for Providence, shooting 2.
Playing tough, but we also can play fair and square. Nice move.
Brings it under 10. That 11-point lead, for some of you who just joined us, was the largest of the night for Penn State. Watkins,
tough
kind
shot.
of lost control of it and was forced to shoot.
Got up in the air. He should have pulled that and dribbled that back out. His team now has a working margin. You don't have to get any more points that way.
Linehan, where's this going? Klein Hurd gives it up to Watkins. What a play. The senior dishes back to the sophomore.
And great hustle by Klein Hurd. He did not give up on that one, realizing it was going to be his team's ball. He went after it anyway. It really was not in sync here at going down to the wire and coming into the NCAA tournament. But none of us expected that upset.
And West Brackett took a beating last night. Some real Cinderellas out there.
Well, 50% of the games have been won by a lower seeded team so far. Zone defense now by Penn State, changing things around.
Shabazz back in the game, and he nails the jumper. He has 4 fouls, and he returns to the lineup.
I really like the coaching moves by Jerry Dunn in this game. He took advantage, remember, in the first half, going to his bench. Crispin likes that shot.
And again, using little of the clock, but he was open.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good decision. They got to start playing clock.
Maxey and a charge. 4 on Maxey and Shabazz, and the basket is dismissed, not counted.
Welsh has got to be careful over there. He doesn't want a technical foul. Huge turnover.
With just 5 minutes to play. Or Haston of Indiana, Richardson of Michigan State, Ken Johnson of Ohio State.
Big Ten likewise.
Big 10 3, Big
Pac-10.
12, Big 12 3.
Pac-10 looking very strong. Maxey cuts through, right through the zone and gets the basket.
SEC also has lost 3 teams.
The Pac-10 could be 5-0, couldn't they? Tonight.
If Cal can beat Fresno State, all winners for the Pac-10 in the first round.
Let's see now if Penn State realizes that the clock is one of their teammates. Start to utilize a little bit of this clock. A lot of time left, but you don't want to put it up quickly.
Crispin got the screen from Smith, and he hits the 3.
Well, I guess you just can't tell Joe Crispin what's a bad shot. He got some room there. Linehan got caught behind the screen.
And that now sets a new high mark for the game, a lead of 12, and a bump foul on John Crispin.
I don't know if any school in the country has produced more guards than what Providence had. Jimmy Walker, Ernie DiGregorio, Lenny Wilkins, Hall of Famer, Vinnie Ernst, John Egan, Eric Murdoch, Kevin Statham, Joe Hassett. I mean, just think of that list of outstanding backcourt players from a very small university.
It is an impressive long list through the years. And Lenny Wilkins, what would you consider? What was his position?
He was a guard. What are you talking about?
Did you have him on your list?
Absolutely.
Oh, I didn't hear him.
Oh, yeah. Well,
okay.
Oh, absolutely. A Hall of Famer.
I thought you mentioned maybe the whole all-time roster, but I didn't hear him.
Yep, Lenny Wilkins. And, you know, only with John Wooden, he's the only guy in the Hall of Fame as both a player and coach.
Crispin steps in, gives it up to Klein Hurd.
Boy, give Joe Crispin credit. Instead of taking that jumper, he saw his teammate wide open. Klein Hurd, they have had no answer for him. In the case of Providence, he was too strong.
All Penn State in the second half. 32-20 advantage in the second half after a tie game after the first 20 minutes. Linehan struggling from the field big time. Shabazz gets it back, turnaround.
Bad
No,
shot.
all air. Maxey.
Boy, give Maxey. He has a lot of energy out there. Plays small in terms of his height for the position that he has to play, but he is really active.
Third foul on Ivory. Providence only 3:15 to make up the 12 points. And there are those out there who thought Providence was poised to make a run, not only maybe through New Orleans, but maybe right through the South bracket all the way to the Final Four. They got to make up a lot of ground here to keep that hope alive.
I would have to agree, Jim. You know, with 11 wins, and this is hard, I just talked about the great guards from Providence. 11 wins in the Big East this year, the most that any Providence team has ever had.
Penn State with a 10-point lead over Providence. Not too low on fuel tonight. Such was not the case, however, Wednesday night when the team was flying into New Orleans. There was a really bad storm here. The Nittany Lions on a small 50-seat jet, and the pilot came on and said, we are critically low on fuel. Even though there's a storm, we need to try to land this plane or else we're going to have to turn around and land somewhere else. The pilot not evidently sensitive to the whole Oklahoma State situation, but fortunately the flight landed safely, and Penn State playing pretty well tonight, Jim.
I tell you, the school should investigate that charter company, because it was a harrowing experience for this team, and there were some messages over the PA that absolutely frightened some of these kids. They were still shook the next day. And there was a very mighty storm in here when they tried to land, and it should have never been trying to fly in at that time. Linehan with the three.
Jerry Dunn wondering what in the world is his team thinking about, leaving Linehan wide open for the shot. Now here we have Crispin out here again challenging Linehan. What he'd like to do is to get fouled, Jim, and go onto that foul line where he's almost a 90% shooter. But he's got to be careful with that ball.
From 12 down to 7. 2:25 to play.
This is a good move right here. Kleinherd is a good dribbler. Shabazz has got 4 fouls on him and doesn't want to guard him. I think it'd be a good idea to put Kleinherd at the top of the key, let him have the ball and drive by him.
4 on the shot clock. Ivory forced to launch it. And tipped up and over to Shabazz.
That was not a good possession for Penn State.
Don't count out Providence. Here come the Friars. Linehan dribbles away from traffic.
How about Maxey? Get Maxey that ball inside. He'll deliver something.
And a timeout called by Providence. Linehan's made only 2 of 10 from the field tonight.
He realizes how critical it is to get off a quality shot with an opportunity for an offensive rebound if it doesn't go.
It would be a priceless win for Penn State. Hanron, and that was a huge attempt right there. Could have cut it to 4.
Well, you can't call a timeout to take a shot like that.
Penn State with 1 tournament win in the last 46 years. That was 10 years ago this week, knocking out UCLA, upsetting them in the first round of the '91 tournament.
Linehan out of the ball game right now. I think he was just looking for a little bit of a rest. There was a case where Penn State, I think wisely, should have got the ball in Crispin's hands and let him dribble it on out, because he wouldn't have had that great defender in front of him. Put him on the line with an opportunity to seal it. Linehan only wanted 1 sit down. He's been tired of chasing Crispin all night. Just needed a blow.
1-1. That's the 9th team foul, so the rest of the way it'll be double bonus. But this is a 1-1 for Tyler Smith, 68% shooter.
This is a good free throw shooting team, Penn State. 76% as a team. Of course, Crispin brings that way up there with that 86%, but Ivory's an 89% shooter. Even better.
Tyler Smith swishes 2 free throws. Penn State leads by 9 with 1:20 remaining. Over the top. Shabazz.
That's a push.
He'll go to the line.
And there was a case. Kleinherd thought he got by with a little subtle push underneath. The trail official, however, just caught him.
3rd foul.
And look at that was really cool. Did you see Kleinherd turn around the ref and winked at him and said, yeah, you did catch me.
He's hoping to get away with it, but he knew he'd been caught. Temple in Florida won here earlier today. North Carolina, Princeton in the final game of the 4.
Well, that's a bad technique on that free throw shot. You see it right here. Check this out, Jim. Yeah, you caught me. And there he winked at that official. Good attitude. I tell you, there's some classy kids playing in these games.
He's certainly one of them, and you'll love the attitude if Penn State wins of Kleinherd and what he'll do with the mascot. Carry the mascot right off the court, the Nittany Lion. Keeping a tradition going from the whole season, whole games.
This is really smart here. Titus Ivory, best free throw shooter on this ball club. Let him handle it. Or, in this case, Kleinherd. Shabazz got 4 fouls on him. He can't come out and play him out there. Ivory gets fouled. He'll go to the line. Good possession by Penn State. And they've got this ball game, Jim. 30-30 at halftime. Providence never got the team on the floor offensively that could get them in sync in the second half, and Penn State took advantage of it.
Double bonus the rest of the way. So Ivory to shoot 2. Penn State's first ever NCAA appearance was back in 1942, and the Nittany Lions played that game, their first ever game in the tournament, in '42, right here in New Orleans. lost to Dartmouth.
Yep.
Dartmouth team that went on to the Final Four and lost to Stanford in the championship.
And then in the consolation game, they beat the Whiz Kids of
Yeah,
Illinois.
how about that? Yeah.
I'll tell you another little interesting thing history-wise. Elmer Gross played on that team in 1942. In '54, he was the coach of Penn State that went to the Final Four. First guy ever to do that, play and coach in the Final Four.
Linehan struggles from the field.
Boy, Klein Hurd has had some kind of basketball game out here tonight. Solid in every respect.
10 rebounds.
And now that should have been an intentional. What happened is that Kaba came over and grabbed Klein Hurd, and it is a intentional foul. Very good call by the official. Didn't make the signal immediately, but Kaba not making a smart move at all. Ran over and guarded a man away from the ball, just put his arms around him. No question, intentional.
Watch the way Klein Hurd goes through this routine. He'll shoot 2 at the line. Just when you think he's ready to go, he'll stop, and he calls it the claw. Kind of scratches his right leg. Says he does that to remind himself to slow down. So one more for Klein Hurd. Penn State just dominating this second half after a tie through the first 20 minutes. There, the claw. And it works again. Penn State out of the Big Ten will give the Big East its first loss of this tournament. Boston College and Georgetown already advancing. Syracuse and Notre Dame also playing tonight. And a steal.
Kaba went up, surprised Klein Hurd with that one.
Linehan surrounded 3 ways. Shabazz, the journey about to end for him. His college career from Florida State to Providence. Kaba follows.
You see what Penn State's doing? They're allowing the 2-point shot, but not the 3. Klein Hurd is out here on the outside saying you can have all the 2s you want. You can't beat us with 2s.
A timeout, and they're already celebrating on the Penn State bench. There's a lot of players you could have given it to. John Crispin had some huge moments in this second half. He's going to the line.
Well, there's no play in this game. If you're going to pick not the player of the game, but the play of the game, there's no play in this game, I think, depicted why Penn State is where they are right now. Better than the one that John Crispin made with the great rebound. Excuse me. Then he went the length of the floor to score over Shabazz and got the foul on Shabazz, which was his 4th. That has to be the play of the game.
He had a 5-point stretch there in about 30 seconds, including that beautiful coast-to-coast move. Shabazz has fouled out.
And that was right after his brother kind of scolded him for taking the outside shot.
Penn State has made its last 12 at the line.
As I said, a very good free throw shooting team. One of the things you look for, Jim, for clubs that are going to advance in the tournament.
Look at these seniors.
2 seniors, yep.
You know, never played in a NCAA tournament game in their careers until tonight.
Well, and just think how they felt after that Iowa game in the Big Ten, where after a moment of elation beating Michigan State and then playing so poorly against Iowa, and a lot of that was due to the fact that Iowa played so well, particularly Reggie Evans, who just controlled everything inside. But they get it back in a hurry. First miss in a while.
After 13 straight.
Thinking 3, and Penn State is just guarding the perimeter.
Doesn't matter now. It's going to be Penn State's night. Get ready to make it official. Penn State's going to the second round. The first tournament win in 10 years.
Very good job by Jerry Dunn out there tonight. Providence never got in sync, and there's that mascot.
The Nittany Lion.
Number 30, Jim, you said 30 was lucky. Remember, it was 30-30 at halftime.
And I said, you know what? That's perhaps a little omen.
That's
because
right.
the Nittany Lions wearing the 30. You got to give them the advantage.
All right, Jerry, this game was tied at the half, but Providence never seemed like they were able to get into a rhythm in the second half. Why not?
Well, I thought we did a pretty good job changing our defenses. We did a nice job, I thought, on the offensive end of bringing our high post out. We made that adjustment at the half. and I thought our big guys did a better job. I felt that defensively, if we could block you out and play solid on the perimeter, we could turn it around.
Listening to some of your guys in practice yesterday, I got the sense they had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder because there was so much talk about John Linehan and what a great defender he was. Did you get that sense too?
I thought that the guys really wanted to rise to the occasion. It was a challenge for them. We're still trying to get some respect.
Some days this is Joe Crispin's team. Some days it's Kleinherdt's team. 4 guys scoring in double figures tonight. How important was the all-around game?
That's what I like. That's what I call basketball in its purest. I want to see guys step up. I want to see total involvement from our guys.
Jerry, congratulations.
Thank you very much.